Welcome to a new series where I will share my journey making a DIY arcade machine. There are many videos already available that show amazing designs and construction, but I'm focusing on the home enthusiast like myself. Priorities are budget, recycling of existing items and materials, and of course, having fun. With this in mind, I decided not to take you through the steps of making a cabinet and wiring up a Raspberry Pi to arcade controls, so there are so many good videos that already demonstrate this. So here is my arcade machine as it stands today. It's nice and compact. I specifically made it so I could play sitting down whilst my kids are standing up. It's made from a marine grade 18mm plywood and sits on some fairly hefty industrial casters to make it easy to move and work on. Here is the control panel layout as it stands. These are Amazon bought joysticks, some unknown Chinese make, and they work pretty well. They're not Sanwa, but they do a good job. They were on very short posts, so you can see here I actually added a post extension. Otherwise they weren't very proud out of the actual cabinet itself, but that's partly to do with the way I've mounted them. Standard sort of 6-button configuration, a cheap trackball, which is pretty good. This knob here is actually the volume control for a very poor audio amp, which should be upgraded in the future because it's not really ideal. This here is a genuine arcade coin door. So this is a metal door. I don't intend to put coin mechanisms in there. I don't really see the point, but I like that it gives me access to inside the machine from the front. So I have a key for it. And this enables me to, you can see here I'm using the Raspberry Pi 4, and it gives me easy access to the wiring from inside, and also convenient kind of, I intend to put additional storage in here, and I can also get to the controls and wiring from this direction as well. One neat feature is this small, if you can see that, control panel. At the moment only the second button does anything. What it does is it has a super bright LED in there for when I'm working in there and I want to see the cables more clearly. It's quite convenient, nice little light. For me, the screen was the really important part. I really wanted to have as close to a 4:3 aspect ratio as I could for the pixel layout to look as authentic as I would prefer. So this is actually a Dell UltraSharp 20-inch monitor. So it's the 2007 WPB model, I think it is. And I managed to get that from eBay for £20, and it's a fantastic monitor. Yes, it only has VGA and DVI, but with adapters, which I can show you, you get a nice, crisp, clear picture, and it mounted nicely with inside the frame here. So from the back, at the moment there's no door or closing mechanism, as I'm in and out of here quite a lot. But eventually I think I might do a magnetically latched back panel that's easy to remove rather than a swing door. Audio, you can see here behind the monitor mount is two speakers from a car, and they are overkill for the absolutely tiny audio amplifier that I'm using there. This is getting replaced because it just sounds tinny. But it's fine for now. That's on a separate video. You can see the back of the insert coin and start buttons for player 1 and player 2. And then as we go down, you can see, we'll turn this upside down. That is all the wiring for the buttons. And we have the Raspberry Pi here in a custom little enclosure. But it's freestanding. I can easily get the Raspberry Pi out because it's quite nice to have that as a standalone device if I want to. I've got a USB stick with all the games and ROMs on. I have one USB hub, which is connecting the controllers and the trackpad going into the Raspberry Pi. And then I've got power, which is being routed around down to here, the main power supply. And then here is a few adapters to create a VGA signal and separating out the audio. So I can send it up to the Dell monitor, up under here, and send the audio out to the amplifier. There's also a splitter here, so I can, although it degrades the volume, I can plug in headphones through that front door. And then at the bottom we have power. So what I've actually done here is there is a large external cable that comes in. This cable is probably going to have a plug or socket on the outside, so it can be disconnected easily. But that actually goes to a first stage power supply that has a cheap smart plug on it. And the reason it has that is because this USB power is to enable me to still activate the light without having the actual arcade machine on, if I'm working on the actual wiring. And then because of the smart plug, everything else is then connected into that, into this power extension, which powers the other USB devices, like this is for the audio amplifier, and the Raspberry Pi itself, and the monitor, which I can then control through smart voice assistant, which is quite convenient. If anyone's wondering about this small book, this is a little notebook that has notes that I need, and also primarily keeping track of games that I'm playing with my children and when we completed them. One of the goals with the arcade machine was to be able to play through all these games that I have played but never finished, and we're just working through them. It's great fun.
So let's talk about costs so far. The main body of the cabinet was a single sheet of 8x4 plywood, which was just £26. I got the monitor off eBay secondhand for £5. The trackball was £12 off eBay, and all the arcade joysticks and buttons and decoders came as a bundle for about £25. I had the old PC speakers, USB hubs, old car speakers, and the casters I already had. The most expensive bit was the Pi. So the Pi 400 was £60, but for an all-inclusive computer which I can use outside the arcade machine, that's good value for money. So this is where we are so far. If you're interested in continuing this series, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.